Hey everyone, it's Morta 13. I went out and bought a new visor for you guys. Oh, got a car behind me. I just decided to put my camera in at a set of lights, but then the lights changed, and I'm like, oh well, that's what hazard lights are for, so I just slapped on my hazards and sat there at the green light fiddling with my camera. Obviously, there was nobody behind me to begin with. Yeah, but some guy did pull up behind me eventually, which is silly of him, because I'm sitting there with my hazards on. I do that sometimes. I'll be, and don't do this because you might get shot, but sometimes I'll be like at a red light or something, and the light will change to green, and the person behind me will honk. And it's like literally it just turned green. It's like not even a second, and like it goes green and then a honk, and it's like, what the fuck? It just went green. I didn't, So you get people like that all over. That used to happen to me a lot in Canada. And what I do is I just put my hazards on, and I get out of, well, usually I'm in a car when it happens, and I'll just put my hazards on and get out of and pop the hood. And then I'll go and I'll like look under the hood and just pretend like there's something, came loose, like maybe the battery line or something. And yeah, so that, and of course they're just, if there's like a bunch of cars behind me, I probably wouldn't do that. But if it's just one, and he's like this Mr. Impatient. Another good thing to do is if you're like, sometimes sometimes I've had people honk at me. It's usually at red lights. It's like, oh, I had a woman the other day. She honked at me, and the light wasn't even green yet. She saw that the other light had turned yellow, meaning that my red was about to change green, and she honked at me. Like, she's saying that I should, like, jump the green or whatever it's called. Jump the red, I don't know. Speaking of lights, fuck yellow, son of a motherfucker. I hate my life. So, you get a red light at one street, take the next street over. My rear tire loves to chirp. You hear that? I don't know if you guys can hear it, but every time I'm downshifting. I'm aggressively downshifting, and pretty much each and every time I'm doing it, my rear tire is locking up and making a chirp. And I didn't do that with my old tires. I just changed my tires recently. So I guess if they're chirping, that means they're sliding, and if they're sliding, it's due to less traction, I'm actually guessing. Which makes sense, because they do have less traction. I'm using Pirelli Diablos right now, which are kind of a street sport tire. But my last tires were the, I don't know, the something 22 or something, I forget. But the tires that I was, no, they weren't. They were some like new brand that I was just testing out for the first time. The tires that I used last time were sport first and street second, and they're like kind of like race tires. They're fine on the racing track. I'm just being noisy. Yeah. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah. Just the other day, the light was still red, and she noticed that it was about to change green, and she honked. So, yeah. So I was I on a scooter or a car at the time? I was on a scooter. So I got off my scooter and I just walked back up to her and I'm like, yes, did you want something? And she's like, go, the light, it's green, go. And I'm like, well, didn't you just call me? And she's like, I was telling you to go. And I'm like, well, that's odd. If you're in a rush, why wouldn't you just wait for me to go instead of honking and calling me back? Because that just means you have to wait longer. And I'm just playing dumb, and I'm like, that's really odd of you, like. And meanwhile, she's like, her face is turning red, and she's just like, hurry up, So it's a funny one. Yeah, like someone honks at you, you don't get out of your car and go back and go, what the fuck are you honking at? Like, that's just negative energy. What you do is you just get out of the car and go, yes, did you need some help? Are you lost? Do you need directions? Would you like some Grey Poupon? Just, just play dumb and think that they're honking because they want to speak with you and not because they're telling you to get out of their way. The whole four-way flashes and popping your hood too, that's a good one. Because you can just turn the car off, put the four-way flashes on, pop the hood, just jiggle the battery line, and then get back in your car and start it up again. And then, you know, if the police actually did show up and say what's going on, just say, oh, sorry man, my battery cable's a little bit loose. It's done that a couple times lately. I'll get it fixed right away. This is the university area. It's always a fun place to go. Tons and tons of restaurants and stuff. Actually got some business in this area, so I'm gonna turn the camera off and do what I gotta do.